Up YouTube? Welcome to Back in Bama with Corey, all about Bama football, especially for lifelong fans just like you. Welcome to the channel, guys. I'm going to be quick. Nick Saban defends Kalen Deboer after Alabama's college football bracket elimination versus Indiana. Nick Saban stopped by the Pat McAfee show and was blunt about his assessment of Kalen Deboer and where he expects Alabama should be. Retired Alabama coach Nick Saban praised Kalen Deboer's work with his former program after the Crimson Tide season ended with a 38-3 Rose Bowl loss to Indiana. Saban was asked on Wednesday on ESPN's The Pat McAfee Show if the Rose Bowl loss made him feel Alabama should have hired one of his former assistants rather than Deboer as his successor in 2024. Now, that was a great question by Pat McAfee because no one has asked that question. It's been on the minds of real Alabama fans, guys, just like you, just like me, that why didn't Alabama go with one of Nick Saban's disciples or someone or one of the other coaches that was extremely familiar with the program, the expectations, the process, the Bama standard. It just seemed like, how did they come up with this guy? And of course, Pat McAfee asked the right question. Hit that subscribe button. I think if somebody was unavailable, now this is Nick Saban, I'm not sure anybody was available that they maybe could have gotten to come here. Saban answered. Saban continued, I do think Kalen Deboer is a really good coach. Well, a lot of us thinks he's a really good coach. We're just waiting to see him become that good coach at Alabama. And he said he's doing a good job here. I'm not so sure about that, but a 20-8 record doesn't necessarily say he totally sucks. He just sucks in big games. This is a tough transition. Now, of course, guys, the sucks part is me, not Nick Saban, of course. This is a tough transition, says Nick Saban, especially in this environment that we live in college football, in terms of our players coming and going. That means in and out of that transfer portal. Teams are betting on hoping that they can keep players and retain players, but the NIL dictates that because these players want money. Guys, that's me. I got to make sure I separate what Nick Saban is saying on the Pat McAfee show versus my own thoughts. These are my own thoughts. Players are hitting the transfer portal. And the reason why is for a number of things. It could be for a number of things. Money, opportunity to start, and to build their resume for the next big opportunity, which is to get to the NFL. Now it says, I think there were 26 players that got in the portal when I retired. So that's a lot to overcome for anybody. And it would have been a lot to overcome for even one of the guys that formerly coached for me. I fully support Alabama Athletic Director Greg Byrne and what he decided to do and how he's done it. Now, see, that's why you don't get nothing about the Kalen Deboer negative. You're not going to hear anything negative about Kalen Deboer from Nick Saban, simply because he's the guy to replace the GOAT. He came in, to follow him. So it doesn't matter. I just think the building would have to be burning at Alabama. Literally have to be on fire down there for Nick Saban to say anything negative about Kalen Deboer. It's just not going to happen, guys. That's just my opinion again. And he said now, he didn't say this. This is Nick Saban words. And I'm hoping that they get the ship going in the right direction here. Now that says a lot. That's telling we're not where we want to be right now. But he's hoping that they get it in the right direction. Sorry for stumbling on my words. I just got excited there. Says it's not bad to get in the playoffs and finish in the final 8, but the expectation around here, which is tough to live up to sometimes. Rumors earlier this season that Michigan was expected to pursue Deboer led the Alabama head coach to say in December 14th statement that he was fully committed to staying with the Crimson Tide. Why not? 8 years and 87 million reasons why you should stay in Alabama. He's making a killing. Deboer went on to lead Alabama to the first-round win over Oklahoma before his teams suffered one of the worst losses in program history during the college football quarterfinals. Alabama's blowout Rose Bowl loss marked the program's worst ever postseason defeat, as well as the first time since 1998 the Crimson Tide had trailed by 35 points in a game, per ESPN's Kalen Deboer. Deboer holds a 20-8 regular season record and one playoff win in 2 seasons at Alabama, given the program's run of 6 national championship game appearances in 7 years under Saban. The pressure will now be on Deboer to lead his team on a deeper run in the 3rd year of the expanded playoff. That will start with the transfer portal, where the Crimson Tide may need to look for a new starting quarterback now that Ty Simpson has announced he will forego his senior season in order to declare for the 2026 NFL Draft. Guys, what's your thoughts about Nick Saban stopping by the Pat McAfee show and discussing Deboer and how he feels about Deboer as a coach? Says he's a really good coach. Of course, again, we're not questioning that he's a really good coach. We're just waiting to see him be that really good coach to this Alabama team. And right now, the jury is out. A 20-8 record is nothing outstanding or nothing to brag about, though it is not a horrible record. And then also, too, Nick Saban did say that he hoped that they get the ship in the right direction. And that says toward a championship caliber team, being a championship caliber team, though he understood it is a tough job. Again, guys, as always, thanks for the pull-up. Guys, make sure you leave a comment, share your thoughts about Nick Saban. I won't necessarily, it was not a softball question. I think Pat McAfee hit on had some good questions for Nick Saban, and Nick Saban answered those questions. And again, guys, you leave a comment. Remember, back in Bama with Corey, all about Bama football. Hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to Back in Bama with Corey, all about Bama football. Turn on all notifications and hit that like button.